Season 19 of Overwatch is packed with content, or lack thereof. First, the hero mastery mode is no more. Goodbye. A little unfortunate, but the writing was on the wall, as it simply was not a popular mode and Blizzard has decided to sunset it. But on the bright side, a brand new arcade game mode called Haunted Masquerade is out, where you mess around wearing other heroes' masks to get new abilities. And they also get a team-up feature for certain heroes, like Rein and Brig getting a bigger shield, so that'll be interesting. Stadium is getting a shake-up, with competitive being a best-of-5 format now, similar to their quick play style, because that was a smashing hit last season, along with gadgets, which are a new addition and are active items you can use. You also have 3 new heroes in Stadium. You have Hazard, Sojourn, TORBJORN, and then you can learn all about them later on in this video in the Stadium section. Everything is timestamped, but let's just jump into what you're mostly here for, which is the balance changes to the base game first. Starting with DOOMFIST, in his base kit, his power block is getting a nerf to its damage reduction. It's being reduced from 80% to 75% damage reduction. For his Aftershock major perk, the slow duration will be increased from 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, and the slow amount will be increased from 30% to 40%, so a buff on this specific perk. The devs comment that power block can make DOOMFIST difficult to punish in certain situations. This change reduces its damage reduction slightly, giving opponents more opportunity to overwhelm his block with damage while preserving the flow of DOOMFIST gameplay. For Hazard, only a change to his minor perk, Anarchic Zeal. The lifesteal will be increased from 25% to 30%. For Junkerqueen, a change to her Rampant Charge minor perk, a nerf here where it no longer refreshes all cooldowns, but instead will reduce all cooldowns by 6 seconds. It may affect your Carnage because it is on an 8-second cooldown, but it would mostly affect your Commanding Shout because that is on a 12-second cooldown. For MAUGA, a small buff to his base kit, small, his ultimate cost will be reduced by 6%. For his Combat Fuel major perk, the maximum overhealth granted will be increased from 100 to 150. And then every time it crits, the amount of overhealth given will be increased from 2 to 3. The devs comment that Cage Fight is a powerful ultimate, but its charge rate has been a bit slow. We've slightly reduced its cost to help MAUGA earn it more consistently, while keeping it balanced relative to its power. For Rein, his Barrier Recharge minor perk is getting a small buff, where the Barrier Field regen rate will be increased from 150 to 200. For Wrecking Ball, I'm very surprised this is getting a small buff, where it no longer consumes the 50 overhealth upon activation. It's free to use now. The visual size of it will also be increased to be in line with Zarya Barrier, so that's more for visual clarity, but overall a buff to this major perk. For the damage heroes, Cassidy's Even the Odds minor perk, the healing per second will be increased from 20 to 30. For Freya, the Relentless Barrage major perk, the ammo refunded will be increased from 4 to 8. For May's Glacial Propulsion minor perk, it no longer shares a cooldown with Ice Wall. It is separate, and the cooldown will be increased from 6 seconds to 10 seconds. For Reaper's base kit, for his Wraith form, the move speed while active will be reduced from 50% to 40%, so he's not as fast. And then his perks are getting a bit of a reshuffle. So Shadow Blink has been moved from a minor perk to a major perk now, and then the major perk Ravenous Wraith is now removed to open up that slot for Shadow Blink, right? Now, the new open minor perk slot has been replaced with a new perk called Lingering Wraith. The perk states that when you now leave Wraith form, you also gain 40% move speed for 2 seconds. The devs comment that Reaper's engage and disengage potential has been too consistent with the addition of the Shadow Blink perk. We've reduced Wraith Form's base movement speed to lower his overall mobility. We've moved that Shadow Blink to a major perk, and now they've added Lingering Wraith as a new minor perk to preserve mobility options for players who choose it. Alright, for Tracer, the Flashback major perk no longer grants 2 blink charges, but instead it'll increase the blink cooldown recovery rate by 150% for 3 seconds after recall. The devs comment that Flashback no longer grants 2 blink charges instantly after recall. This change creates a short delay before additional blinks are available. This helps limit rapid blink chaining while maintaining Flashback's effectiveness. For Widowmaker, the Seeker Mine major perk damage will be increased from 25 to 50. For the supports, we have Ana's Headhunter major perk. The crit damage multiplier will be increased from 1.5 to 2x damage. For Baptiste's Assault Burst major perk, the double healing for people below half health is back, but the attack speed bonus will be reduced from 30% to 25% to compensate. For ILLARI's Solar Flare major perk, they're reducing the resource cost from 100% to 50% of its max energy, and the healing amount will no longer scale with your energy spent. Instead, the explosion healing is now a flat 100 healing. For Juno, her ultimate cost has been reduced by 8% in her base kit. The devs comment that Orbital Ray remains a strong support ultimate, but Juno's time to earn it can feel a bit slow. This change keeps her ultimate among the longer to earn options while bringing her closer in line with the rest of the hero roster. For KIRIKO, the Foxtrot major perk, the duration will be reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, but for the Ready Step major perk, the duration will be increased from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. For LifeWeaver's minor perk, Life Weaving, Rejuvenating Dash's healing will be increased from 20 to 30. And then for the Petal Power major perk, the attack speed bonus while standing on it will be increased from 25% to 30%. All right, WUYANG definitely needs some nerfs here. He's way too good. The base health of him will be reduced from 250 to 225. And then for his Xuanyu staff, his main weapon, the maximum explosion damage will be reduced from 70 to 60, but the maximum impact damage will be increased from 30 to 40. So if you hit a direct single target, there is no difference, but the AoE surrounding it will be slightly noticeable if enemies are clumped up. For his Overflow minor perk, the healing resource generation will actually be increased from 33% to 50%. Wow. For his other minor perk, that one's getting a nerf where its passive healing will be reduced from 40% to 30%. For his Ebb and Flow major perk, the healing on the returning wave has been nerfed and reduced by 50%. Devs comment that WUYANG remains a strong support, with high healing and damage paired with strong mobility. We've reduced his base health to make him a less survivable threat while keeping his numbers impactful. Additionally, slight adjustments to Xuanwu's staff's damage will reduce its explosion damage while still rewarding direct hits. Alright, Stadium changes this season. Competitive is no longer a best of 7, it is now a best of 5, so you gotta win 3 to win the match. A couple of rule changes to accommodate, and the devs comment that Stadium has been out for 3 seasons, and players have a better understanding of the mode and how it works, and based on this, we think we can move away from the more segmented power curve offered by the 7-round approach, which served us really well in these early months. We have been happy with the results of the quick play format in Season 18, and we want to bring those same wins to competitive. The goal of this change is to keep the competitive nature of the format while still making it move at a faster pace. We look forward to your feedback as we continue to iterate on Stadium and make it the best it can be. Honestly, I like that. Alright, introducing gadgets. The devs comment that we're continuing our goal of improving our general item selection to give you agency on what you need to address more matchups and further customize your playstyle. So now, we're introducing gadgets, which are active items that grant you a bonus ability with a cooldown when you purchase them. The gadgets will appear in your heads-up display near your existing abilities and can be activated with the customizable hotkey, and you can have one equipped at a time. I'm not going to go over all the active items or else this video is going to take too long because we also have Stadium changes, but I'll show them to you on the screen right now. The biggest thing is that they range from really cheap active items to really expensive ones. Almost 13,000 for the most expensive one, called Refresher, similar to like Echo Shard if you play Deadlock. For quality of life, we have Stadium combat text, so floating combat numbers in the game. That is amazing. Only for Stadium though. I want this in the main game. We also now have an Armory filter, so you can quickly search for the item you need. You have sub tabs, you have an advanced info panel when you look at all the information here. And then for the maps, you have Busan Sanctuary, the control map, added to the map lineup. All right, now let's actually get to the changes to the game itself. First, we have a brand new hero for Stadium. Hazard has joined the fray as a tank, and here is a screenshot of his powers. All right, for ORISA, her advanced Throwbotics power, the damage will be increased from 50% to 75%. For REINHARDT, his Rocket Boots rare survival hero item has been removed. For Sigma's Zero Gravity power, the flight duration has been increased from 2.5 seconds to 4 seconds, and the damage reduction has been increased from 10% to 15%. For the Apogee alignment power, they've removed the Hypersphere's damage reduction, and then that text will be updated in the mid-season patch, so it doesn't say that right now. For the Trinisphere power, the third Hypersphere damage will be increased from 50% to 75%. For the damage heroes, Junkrat's Slapnull power cooldown has been decreased from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. For Reaper's Strangle Step power, they've reduced the Shadow Step cast speed from 30% to 15%, and for the Spirited Display power, they've reduced the cooldown Wraith form reduction on elimination from 100% to 50%. SOJOURN is also a brand new DPS hero added to the Stadium roster, and here is a list of all the powers you'll be able to choose for her. TORBJORN, another hero added to the Stadium roster, 3 heroes this season. Here's a list of his powers as well. Ana is getting a bit of a shakeup where 4 of her old powers have turned into items, and now those empty slots have new powers, and the first is Artsy Dartsy. This one is while scoped in with Biotic Rifle, Ana can shoot a sleep dart through the Biotic Rifle with 150% increased projectile speed. This next power is called Fountain of Soothe, where the sleep dart also spawns a biotic grenade. Next is Nano Nade, where the biotic grenade will now grant a nano boost with 25% effectiveness, so a lot worse, to all allies for 1.5 seconds. That is nice though. And finally, we have Falconer, where the nano boost also gives a 20% increase to attack speed and 15% ultimate charge. In this empty slot, it used to be your full potential. That's actually been completely removed. Over here, it used to be tactical rifle, which is now going to be a rare weapon hero item. In this slot, it used to be sleep regimen. It is now a rare ability hero item. And over here we had Timeout, and that is now a new epic survival hero item. We have Venomous. This power, the damage has been decreased from 75 to 60. Some of our other item changes, we have Lethal Dose here, this epic ability hero item where the lifesteal has been decreased from 50% to 10%, but it now gives Ana 60 overhealth. For the Cluster Core, the cooldown reduction has been decreased from 2 seconds to 1 second. Her old Tranquilizer and Double Dosage epic ability hero items have been removed. For Brig, the Burst Aid power, the input has actually changed from melee to the reload button because Brig doesn't need to reload. That's a free binding. For her max life heal per repair pack consumed, it has been increased from 20% to 25%. The attack speed buff per repair pack has been increased from 5% to 10%. For the Righteous Cleave power, the heal now triggers on the next damaging rocket flail swing. So you actually have to hit a target, whereas before it was just the next rocket flail swing. So you could just swing at nothing and get the free heal. So that's a nerf. For Lucio's old reverb power, it used to be gain an extra charge of sound waves, so you sit with 2 boops, but now it's changed to after using the sound wave for the boop, within 4 seconds you can use it again with 75% reduced effectiveness, so that's kind of a nerf here. For the Crowd Pleaser power, the healing now scales off of Soundwave's damage instead of the 20 flat healing scaling with ability power. For his Let's Bounce power, the bonus damage now scales off of Soundwave's damage instead of the 25 flat damage scaling with ability power. For the Wall Vibing power, the max overhealth every second has been increased from 3% to 4%. For the Mixtape power, the heal for every 1 second speed boop was active. It was increased to 75% of the crossfade healing, which is up from the 50%. For the rare ability item number 1 single, the price has gone up from 4,000 to 4,500. And for the Hip Hop Epic Survival Hero item, they've added a 10% weapon power and 10% ability power. They've removed the 25 health, and the cost has been increased from 9,000 to 9,500. Finally, for Zen, 2 changes to 2 different powers. For Instant Karma, this one's getting a buff where the Restore has been increased from 30% to 50%. For the Dual Harmony power, the healing reduction has been decreased from 40% to 35%. Now for some general item changes. For the Stratosphere Beacon, this one is turning from a rare to a common, so blue to a regular green. The bonus damage and slow to airborne enemies will now proc from both weapon and ability damage, but they have removed the 5% weapon power. For the Salvage Slugs Epic Weapon General item, they've added an increased damage and ammo refund on damage to deployables such as Torbjorn's turret. For the Liquid Nitrogen Epic Ability General item, the slow on ability damage has been reduced from 20% to 10%, and they've added a 15% increased slow to the bonus movement speed from abilities and items that the enemies build. For Lumerico's Fusion Drive, looks like you get 50 armor on it now, but the price is increased from 10,000 to 11,000. The Heartbeat Sensor Common Survival General item is being removed. Replacing it is a new Common Survival General item called Reflex Coating, which has 25 HP, and when you are stunned, slept, or hindered or anti-healed, you will now gain 75 overhealth for 3 seconds, which is on a 20-second cooldown. And that's it for like the big game changes. We obviously have some stuff for the season, such as the new mythic skins for Lifeweaver, and then we have the KIRIKO weapon skin, and then the Junkrat one coming in the mid-season. We have the new hero trial for the new damage hero. I think she's a swordsman, an Italian swordsman. You can see them tease it in the background of their latest dev video. You obviously have your mask Halloween event mode, Halloween Terror is back, all that fun stuff. Let me know what you guys think of this season in the comments. Thanks for watching.